내가 지키고 있던 가끔 떠오르면 괴롭던 난 망가질 차례가 됐어 넌 모르게 난 빌었지 다 망가지라고 그러면은 함께 할 수는 있겠지 내 이름도 가끔 어렵지만 빈 그릇과 반찬통을 세기 반해버린 하얀 소나타를 매일 습관처럼 되뇌이며 살고 싶어
Introducing Korean broadcast content that you won't be able to stop watching. For weary modern souls, Dr. Romantic, the quirky genius doctor of Doldam Hospital, prescribes heartwarming tales of humanity. A couple together for 7 years sees their rose-tinted glasses shatter. Can they keep their relationship alive? Discover the raw stories of youth, work, and love. Beyond what social media can show, experience the vibrant Korea through its hidden gems. Mama, the ultimate K-pop festival for global fans. Find your star in a feast of trendy music and electrifying performances. Now, the whole world enjoys it together.
The moment we wear it, our spirits lift. It helps us grow strong, in body and in mind. As we wear it, we learn patience and respect. The belt system motivates students to strive harder and continue growing. This uniform shapes movement into grace and turns performance into something thrilling. Now, embraced around the world, Taekwondo shares our culture, philosophy, and values with pride and spirit. Though it may seem simple, this uniform holds your passion and your journey. It belongs to Taekwondo. Wear the extraordinary. Be with Taekwondo.
Both the United States and Iran are showing no signs of backing down, with Iran saying the Strait of Hormuz will remain closed to anyone who threatens Iran, after President Donald Trump gave a 48-hour ultimatum, saying if Tehran does not fully open without threat the waterway, the U.S. military will begin targeting Iranian power plants. As Washington works to stabilize oil prices, U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent defended the government's decision last week to temporarily lift sanctions on Iranian and Russian crude, saying it's aimed at allowing Asian allies such as South Korea to buy supplies that would otherwise go to China. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has been reappointed as president of the State Affairs Commission, as the regime hosts the first session of the Supreme People's Assembly to approve key policies and review its 5-year economic plan. Hello and thanks for joining us on Arirang News. U.S. President Donald Trump on Saturday U.S. time gave Iran 48 hours to reopen the strategically key Strait of Hormuz, warning he will strike its power plants if it fails to comply. Iran says the strait is open to all except those who violate Iranian soil, adding it would respond to attacks with strikes on U.S.-owned energy infrastructure. Our Park Jun-an has this report.
Iran responded to an ultimatum from U.S. President Donald Trump seeking the full reopening of the Strait of Hormuz by saying the key waterway is not fully closed, it's under its control, and is only restricted to hostile and harmful traffic. On Saturday, Trump threatened to obliterate Iranian power plants, starting with the biggest one first, if the strait was not reopened to ships within 48 hours, with over 24 hours having already passed. Tehran also said it would take immediate punitive measures targeting U.S.-owned energy infrastructure in the Middle East in the event of such an attack.
However, if U.S. threats regarding Iran's power plants are carried out, the following punitive measures will be implemented immediately. The Strait of Hormuz will be completely closed and will remain closed until our damaged power plants are restored.
With the war now in its fourth week, Israel is continuing strikes on Iran and its proxies, while Iran has also claimed responsibility for multiple ballistic missile and drone attacks that injured scores of people near an Israeli nuclear research facility, as well as targets in Gulf countries including the UAE and Kuwait. Park Jun-an, Arirang News.
Meanwhile, Washington has defended easing oil sanctions on Iran and Russia as NATO and allies move to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. U.S. officials warn of possible strikes on Iranian infrastructure while urging coordinated action to secure global energy routes. Our Lee Seung-jae has more.
U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent defended Washington's temporary easing of sanctions on Iranian and Russian crude, stressing that the move is aimed at stabilizing oil prices and allowing Asian allies such as Japan and South Korea to buy supplies that would otherwise go to China. Speaking on NBC on Sunday, Bessent dismissed concerns that Iran could earn up to $14 billion in additional revenue, calling the estimate exaggerated. He said the sanctions relief would improve strategic conditions for U.S. partners and help manage short-term volatility in global energy markets. While acknowledging possible short-term price spikes, he argued that they would be manageable if they lead to long-term stability and prevent Iran from acquiring nuclear weapons. Bessent also addressed President Donald Trump's warning that Iranian power plants could be targeted if the Strait of Hormuz is not reopened within 48 hours, saying pressure can be necessary to achieve de-escalation and that operations to weaken Iranian positions are ongoing. U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations Mike Waltz also warned that President Trump is serious about the threat and suggested strikes could begin with one of Iran's largest power plants, though no target was specified. Meanwhile, NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte and a coalition of 22 countries, including NATO members and partners such as South Korea, Japan, Australia, New Zealand, the United Arab Emirates, and Bahrain, is coordinating with Washington to reopen the Strait of Hormuz and ensure freedom of navigation. Rutte acknowledged Trump's frustration over what he sees as slow Allied action, but said delays were unavoidable as countries prepared without prior knowledge of U.S. operations. Trump has warned NATO would be a paper tiger without U.S. leadership, while Rutte and Washington believe preemptive measures were necessary to enhance global security. Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has been reappointed president of the State Affairs Commission during the first session of the regime's rubber stamp parliament, following last month's ruling party Congress. The Korean Central News Agency said on Monday that the decision was made on the opening day of the 15th Supreme People's Assembly session. At the same meeting, senior aide Cho Young-won was elected chairman of the Assembly Standing Committee, the regime's top parliamentary post, replacing Choi Ryong-hae. North Korea usually convenes a parliamentary session after a party congress to formalize laws and policies needed to implement key decisions adopted at the gathering. South Korea's financial markets saw a sharp decline this morning, heavily impacted by the situation in the Middle East and the blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. The Korean won weakened past 1,510 won per US dollar, the weakest it has been since the 2009 global financial crisis, as investors shift towards safe haven assets. The benchmark Kospi plunged below the 5,500 mark, dropping nearly 6%, triggering a sell sidecar early in the session to temporarily halt program trading. Foreign investors led the sell-off, offloading roughly 1.4 trillion won in local shares, which resulted in significant losses for top tech firms, including Samsung Electronics and SK hynix. South Korean President Lee Jae-myung has nominated Shin Hyun-song, an official at the Bank for International Settlements, as the new governor of the Bank of Korea. Shin previously served as a professor at Princeton University and a financial advisor to the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. He also worked as the Presidential Secretary for International Economic Affairs in 2010. Shin is described as a globally recognized expert in international finance and macroeconomics, with both academic depth and practical insight. He responded to the nomination, calling it an honor, but added that he feels a heavy responsibility with ongoing economic uncertainties around the world due to the situation in the Middle East and U.S. tariff policies. South Korea's ruling Democratic Party and the government have agreed to draw up a supplementary budget of around 25 trillion Korean won, over 16.6 billion US dollars, to respond to economic fallout from Middle East tensions. The plan was discussed at a high-level meeting with the presidential office at the National Assembly on Sunday, where officials said the budget will be financed using higher-than-expected tax revenues, avoiding additional bond issuance to limit any impact on financial markets. The DP said it plans to pass the extra budget in the National Assembly by April 10th. The extra funding will focus on easing high oil prices, supporting vulnerable groups and exporters, and stabilizing supply chains. And South Korean lawmakers have approved bills establishing a new investigation agency and creating a separate prosecution service. This marks a pivotal step in restructuring the country's justice system by separating investigative and prosecutorial powers. Our political correspondent An Sung-jin has the details.
South Korea's National Assembly has passed bills to reform the country's criminal justice system by separating investigative and prosecutorial powers. One bill led by the ruling Democratic Party establishing a new serious crime investigation agency passed on Saturday with 166 votes in favor and 1 against. The newly created investigation agency placed under the Interior Ministry will handle 6 major crime cases. Those cases are corruption, economic crimes, defense industry-related offenses, drug crimes, threats to national security, and cybercrime. Its jurisdiction also extends to offenses committed by officials in judicial and law enforcement institutions. This follows the passage of legislation on Friday creating a separate prosecution service. The bill faced strong opposition from members of the main opposition People Power Party who held a filibuster and then boycotted the vote, arguing that the reforms undermine the justice system. With the boycott, the legislation passed with 164 votes in favor, 1 against. This bill states that the prosecution service will be limited to indictment functions and structured into a 3-tier system of central, regional, and local offices. Prosecutors will not be able to direct or supervise police investigations, and new legal provisions introduce stricter accountability, including dismissal as a disciplinary measure without formal impeachment processes. The 2 bills are set to formalize a system in which investigation and indictment are handled by separate independent bodies. The new judicial framework will take effect in October once the current prosecutor's office is officially abolished. An Sung-jin, Arirang News.
In other news, K-pop megastars BTS marked their comeback with a massive free concert at Gyeongbokgung Square here in Seoul over the weekend. Thousands of fans gathered on site to witness the event. Our culture correspondent Park Gun-woo shares us the highlights.
The 7 members lit up Gyeongbokgung Gate, the main gate of Gyeongbokgung Palace, snapping a nearly 4-year hiatus in style.
I can't believe the 7 of us are all standing together on this stage today. Wow. We know it's been a long way, right? Thank you for waiting for us.
The group opened with Body to Body, the opening track of their new album Arirang, blending a modern reinterpretation of the traditional folk song Arirang, performed by traditional singers. 7 more songs, including the album's lead track, Swim, were performed live for the first time. The group capped the show with hits like Butter and Dynamite.
As long as you're with us, we always do our best to bring you great music and performances. Thank you!
RM, who had injured his ankle during rehearsals, performed with limited movement but showed no shortage of energy.
No matter what happens, we promise to keep swimming together. This is just the beginning. We love you, Army!
Fans waved their light sticks wildly, lighting the night atmosphere while dancing to the music, and some fans even burst into tears. BTS's agency said around 100,000 fans were on site.
It was really fun. I really enjoyed it, and I got to hear new songs from BTS as well as my favorite songs.
Amazing, it's just fun to be like with everybody in Seoul, kind of getting together for a big cultural event.
The concert was also praised for running smoothly and safely.
Everybody knew what they were supposed to do. Nobody was trampling anybody.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was really good.
That was made possible by the help of some 10,000 personnel, including police officers, as well as thorough security checks at multiple entry gates. The event also extended far beyond Korea, with the concert streamed live on Netflix to audiences in over 190 countries, topping the Netflix movie charts in 77 countries. After successfully finishing the much-anticipated comeback show, BTS will now head to the US to remind the world the group is back with more performances along the way before flying back to Korea to kick off the biggest K-pop world tour ever, Arirang, across 34 cities, starting in Goyang. Park Gun-woo, Arirang News.
And amid the excitement surrounding the BTS comeback, fans and visitors alike spent the weekend exploring events across Seoul. Interactive programs were spread throughout the city, transforming Seoul into a large cultural stage. Our correspondent Jong-un tells us more.
At Yeouido Hangang Park, the BTS City Arirang program welcomed weekend visitors. People strolling along the Han River naturally drifted into the pop-up venue, turning the park into a lively festival scene.
Today is very sunny, very good, and we knew that here we can do some picnic and have a nice time, and just suddenly we understood there's a BTS event here, very nice.
We took the Hangang bus today and thought Gwanghamon would be too crowded. We heard that Yeouido has been prepared nicely for playing with children, so we decided to come here.
At the Arirang playground, visitors can ride bicycles and swings that follow the beat of the tracks from the Arirang album, allowing them to really immerse themselves in the music.
Children and elderly visitors alike enjoyed the interactive elements as the park transformed into a vibrant space where K-pop and people came together. BTS fans also responded positively, noting that the citywide stamp rally, which takes them to landmarks across Seoul, offers a chance to discover other parts of the city.
Because I couldn't get tickets to either of the performances, I am happy that I could come here and enjoy something, at least something small. So I'm glad that I could share this with them, even though I won't really be at the concert today.
Landmarks across Seoul, including Dongdaemun Design Plaza, are being lit up in the colors of BTS's new album, with special lightning displays running through March 20 through April 19. Other areas such as Cheonggyecheon Stream and Yongsan Station are also being transformed into exhibition spaces, with more programs set to roll out in April as the group kicks off its world tour. The festival is organized in partnership with the Seoul Metropolitan Government, bringing together mobility, hospitality, finance, and food sectors to enhance the overall visitor experience. Jo Young-eun, Arirang News.
This is The World Now, bringing you everything you need to know from around the globe. Israel has struck a major bridge in southern Lebanon and ordered troops to destroy crossings over the Litani River as it ramps up its campaign against Hezbollah. The Israeli military struck a bridge on the coastal highway near Tyre on Sunday, damaging a critical route linking southern and central Lebanon. It had issued a warning earlier in the day, and Lebanese media later reported a second strike on the same crossing. Israel's defense minister says troops have been ordered to destroy all crossings over the Litani River used for militant activity in a move aimed at restricting Hezbollah's movement. He also says forces will speed up demolitions of homes in frontline villages to create a buffer zone along the border. Lebanon's president called the strikes collective punishment. Human Rights Watch warns that isolating southern areas of Lebanon could trigger a humanitarian crisis. In the U.S., President Donald Trump has ordered immigration officers to U.S. airports starting Monday to support security operations as a funding standoff disrupts travel nationwide. The plan would send ICE officers to assist at airports unless Democrats agree to fund the Homeland Security Department. White House border czar Tom Homan said the agents could check IDs or guard exit lanes, allowing Transportation Security Administration staff to focus on screening. Hundreds of thousands of DHS workers, including TSA agents, have been working without pay after funding expired last month. The administration said hundreds of ICE officers could be deployed, focusing on major airports with long delays. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell reiterated the independence of the central bank as political pressure over interest rates continue to build. In a taped message accepting the Paul A. Volcker Public Integrity Award on Saturday, Powell praised former Fed Chair Paul Volcker for his willingness to raise rates in the 1980s despite a political backlash. Powell says independence and integrity are inseparable. His message comes as President Donald Trump continues pressing the Fed to lower rates. The Justice Department is also investigating Powell over renovations at the Fed's headquarters. Powell has said he will remain in his role until that probe is resolved. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz's conservatives moved toward victory in Rhineland-Palatinate on Sunday, while the Social Democrats faced the loss of a state they had controlled for 35 years. Early projections put the Christian Democrats at 30.8% and the Social Democrat coalition partners at 26%, positioning Merz's party to win the western state and form a coalition with its federal partner, the SPD. Christian Democrat candidate Gordon Schneider is now on course to replace the sitting Social Democrat premier. The far-right AfD also surged, doubling its previous share of the vote to around 20% and posting its strongest result yet in a western German state. Chu Ji-hyun, Arirang News.
We can surely tell spring is here with the appearance of buds on trees and spring flowers blooming. And it's going to feel more like late April this afternoon. In fact, this week will feel more like mid to late April. But you know that warmth comes with a sharp gap between lows and highs, so layering is key. Along with warmer temperatures, air quality is an issue today. Ultrafine dust levels will reach the bad range across the capital area and Chungcheongnam province, and we will notice the other regions getting worsening as the day goes on. And this afternoon, Seoul will be getting up to 19 degrees Celsius. Daegu and Gwangju will soar to 20 and 21 degrees respectively under mostly sunny skies. Meanwhile, the air is getting dry with dry weather alerts being issued across regions. Expect mostly sunny skies and above average temperatures to continue this week, while Jeju Island will see more frequent chances of rain in the coming days.
That's all we have for today's noon edition of Arirang News. Thank you for watching. We'll be back at 5 p.m. Korea time. Stay tuned.
Good evening and welcome to the 10 o'clock edition of Arirang News. Thanks for joining us on this special day, a day in which Arirang TV first goes on the air.
Arirang TV is Korea's first.
From all of us here at Arirang, thank you for watching. Your city next to 30 years.
Time to set the facts straight. Get Korea right.
안녕하세요. 저는 인도네시아에서 온 방과 회원 무티아라 하이라니입니다. 반갑습니다. 인도네시아에 왔을 때 한국 드라마를 즐겨봤어요. 그러다가 한국에 와서 대학을 다니게 됐어요. 한국 사극 드라마도 즐겨봤어요. 왕과 왕비가 살고 그리고 신하들이 회의를 하고 그리고 궁녀들이 일하는 그런 궁궐에 관심이 생겼어요. 제가 제일 좋아하는 궁은 경복궁입니다. 그런데 AI한테 경복궁 그림을 보여달라고 했더니 그 엉뚱한 그림을 보였다는 제보가 있었어요. 예를 들면 궁 앞에 강이 있고 나룻배가 있다든지 산 꼭대기에 있다든지 이런 오해들. 제가 직접 경복궁을 소개해 드릴게요. 같이 갈까요? 경복궁은 대한민국 역사와 문화의 중심지로 여겨져요. 조선시대 왕실의 그 위엄과 격식을 제대로 알 수 있는 곳이거든요. 또 경복궁은 외국인 관광객이 많이 방문하는 그 서울의 랜드마크 중 하나입니다. 제가 경복궁을 사랑하는 이유 이제 아시겠죠? 한국에 대한 잘못된 정보를 바로 찾는 일, 여러분도 함께 해주세요.
How to survive in Korea. Workplace. Step 1. Lunchtime. The most important morning routine is to check today's menu. Food is essential for survival. Memorize today's menu. The highlight of office life. Lunchtime. Rice in the bottom left, soup in the bottom right. The top is for the sides. The sauce and the spoon go here. This is the basic layout, but it's a bit odd to switch rice and soup. When you're done, pour the leftovers into the soup bowl. It doesn't look that appetizing, so wait until others are done eating. Step 2. Neng, nep, nenep. These are the most used expressions at work. Choose the most appropriate form. Neng, nep, nenep. Remember that the formal ne can sound a bit stiff. Did you just say yes? Absolutely not acceptable. You want to find the right word for the right occasion. Step 3. Desteria. Desteria is the oasis in the desert. Show them your character. If you're not the diligent type, get a stooky plant. Work is tough. Laugh and the whole world laughs with you. Weep and you weep alone. Stay put, like the stooky that survives in the desert. Hang in there until the end. Of course, you can always quit. You matter more than anything else. Step 4. Survival kit. Every worker needs a survival kit. Survival kit level 1. This position gets the most exposure. Grab one when you need a sugar boost. Always keep a few treats you can offer your co-workers. Survival kit level 2. These are for hunger pangs before and after a meal. You'll need them when you take a coffee break with your office buddies. Survival kit level 3. Trash talking your boss with your soulmate. Did you survive in the workplace? Office romance? Be careful. Even the photocopier knows all the gossip.